So in the interest of full authenticity and transparency, I will admit to you guys that I've been procrastinating shooting this video's contents because I know that some of you guys are gonna get mad at me probably. And that's fine. You know, these are my opinions that I'm about to say. And if you no longer want to be involved with my work because they trigger you, that's okay. If you want to unfollow me, that's okay. I've been having lots of experiences in my recent times that are showing me to a new level, because we all go through this sometimes, that not everybody's gonna like you. Even if you come from your heart and you feel nothing but love for the people around you, sometimes you just can't be liked by everyone, and nor should you. You know, it's okay to have differing opinions. And I do have some differing opinions, and I'm going to say them here because I've been talking to some friends about them. I've been wanting to share them with you guys, but I've been talking to some friends about them, and I've had people tell me, Karis, you need to say these things. No one's saying these things. You should go ahead and get public about how you feel. So, okay, here we go. All right. 4 things that it's my intent to talk about. We'll see if I remember all of them, because this is just an off-the-cuff video. I've only been thinking about doing it for a short time. And like I said, you might not agree, and that's okay. These are my opinions, okay, from how I understand things to work. Number 1, I'd like to talk about global warming for a second. Yes, of course, the planet's getting hotter. Yes, of course, pollution is bad, and we should clean it up and stop doing it. Those things said, however, when you take the long, long, long view, which because of my soul history I can't help but do, and you think about the planet, it does not make sense to me that it would be healthy for this planet to have 2 blocks of ice on it all the time. I don't think that's what's naturally supposed to happen. It's just common sense. The whole thing probably goes liquid, then the whole thing goes solid in an ice age, then the whole thing goes back liquid again. You got to take the long, long, long view. Now, again, I'd like to repeat, I'm not saying that pollution is okay. I think we should clean up our planet. And I'm not saying that global warming is not happening. Of course it is, but I think it is part of a natural cycle. Now, is it happening faster than it would otherwise? And is that a terrible thing? The truth is, I don't know, and neither do you, and neither does anybody else, because there evidence is to support both sides. I think that it just depends on what's going on at the time, not only about what's happening on the planet, but on in the larger cosmic spheres. And remember, we are of Earth. We live inside the Earth. We live in her atmosphere. We are inside of her. We are cells of the Earth. Man-made does not mean not Earth-made. Man-made is still Earth-made. I see us as kind of the neurons of the prefrontal cortex of the Earth. And right now we're in a big growth spurt, and we're doing a bunch of crazy things as a race. But I do believe we'll come through. I don't believe the world is going to shit. I don't believe... Do you guys remember when we were little and we would watch those TV shows like Captain Planet, and they had us brainwashed that by the time we were this age, in our 20s, 30s, 40s, whatever, that you wouldn't be able to go outside when it rained because the acid rain would burn your skin off? I truly believe that there is a misinformation campaign trying to make people freak out about this stuff. So, if you're triggered by this, that's okay. It's just my opinion. Okay, so that's number 1 about the whole global warming thing. Maybe it's happening faster. I don't know. Because, like I said, they have drilled in what I've read into the ice on one of the poles and seen that there have been periods of heating up this fast before when humans weren't even here yet, apparently. So, okay, just a note. I like to live on an Earth that I see as healthy and happy and lovely. And from what she has told me, Gaia has told me in my journeyings, wanderings, within and without, she's okay. She's healthy. We are a skin infection, a minor skin infection on her. And, that said, I don't eat animal products. I don't support factory farming industry. I eat all organic. And I do believe that these things should be done. But you can do them without being in a fearful perspective or in a doomsday perspective. Which leads me to number 2. Ooh, I'm shuddering inside because I know that this might not go well. Because some of the people I really respect do believe in this thing that I don't believe in. And it's chemtrails. Let's talk about chemtrails. I'm sorry, But I don't believe that there's a they out there who's poisoning all of us, because guess what, guys? There's no freaking fence. If they're poisoning us, they're poisoning themselves. I don't believe that I have chosen to exist in a reality where there's a they who's sitting there, I guess it's supposed to be a multidimensional thing. I don't think that people think that humans are necessarily having this conversation about let's poison everyone, including us and our children, because like I said, there's no fence. I think that the chemtrails are jet fuel, different kinds of jet fuel, doing different kinds of things in different kind of atmospheres. I've spent time around aerospace engineers, a good amount in my life, and I've seen that they are not these diabolical people trying to off the human race, you guys. Now, whether or not that jet fuel is healthy for us to breathe, probably not. But I don't believe that a bunch of poisons are being inserted into airplanes to put over the cities. I just don't. And I've also heard, I believe that I have more control over my reality than that. And I've never heard this spoken about in a way that's empowering or in a way that's particularly actionable, other than, oh, eat a lot of superfoods because they're trying to get us. But they would be trying to get themselves too. So whenever I do see what some people call chemtrails in the sky, I imagine them as sylph highways. And sylphs, if you don't know what sylphs are the elemental spirits of the air. And, even if you do believe in chemtrails, it's still a good idea to say, okay, elemental spirits of air, could you please clean that up? So we've got global warming, chemtrails. 3, disclosure. As someone who is self-admittedly as much ET as human, lately I've felt less human than ever, if you're waiting on the government to tell you that aliens are real so that you can believe in them, you're going to be waiting for a long time. If you're waiting for the government, really, or any overarching organization to tell you anything in order to make the decision yourself, then perhaps it's time to do some more solar plexus work. And remember that you are the one in charge. Disclosure does not happen from top down. Disclosure happens from bottom up. There's a great UFO documentary called I Know What I Saw. And it's like many things. I don't believe in blind faith one way or the other. I think it's a ridiculous concept, blindly doing anything, really. So I'm one to research and also look within, maybe even more than I research without, just because that's the way I operate. And if you've experienced extraterrestrial contact, no one can convince you it's not real, okay? If you haven't, then it's fine not to believe in it. That's okay. But I really think it's a little bit ridiculous that people are so wanting some person in charge to tell them that it's okay to believe in something that they already know to be true within their hearts. So again, I don't think real change comes top down. I think it comes bottom up. So I think better than getting on all the bulletin boards and maybe even signing the petitions is planting a garden, changing everything you eat to organic, only supporting local stuff, doing the things from within that will change the world as effectively or more effectively than waiting for somebody in office to sign an order and then all of that chain of command that has to come down to shift. Okay, so we've got global warming, chemtrails, and disclosure. By the way, if you want to have ET contact, just start requesting it. They're around. They've always been around. They've helped our development since the inception of humanity. They were part of the inception of humanity. This is not a new thing. And also all the fear-mongering done by various media sources have it under extremely good advisement that if extraterrestrials wanted to hurt humans, that would have happened a long time ago. We'd already be wiped out. The way that I often see the human concept of whether or not extraterrestrials, the official one, whether or not extraterrestrials are in contact with us, is as if we are indigenous people on an island in the ocean. And we're still a very, very new race. And we assume that since we can't cross the ocean, no one can. But our technology as it currently stands is only a couple hundred years old. What about a planet that's got 1,000,000-year-old technology, 1,000,000,000-year-old technology? What about populations from planets that have left and now live in space and don't hold true to any planet because maybe theirs doesn't even exist anymore? All of these things are possibilities, and all of them exist, I do believe. So yeah, if you want to have contact, just start requesting it. Go outside at night, look up, all these kinds of things. It can happen. Don't wait for someone to tell you what's true. And finally, the last one is kind of related to that, and it's the whole concept of the people controlling our world, trying to keep a bunch of people enslaved in their minds. While I do believe that's true, especially in the U.S., I think that a lot of the reasons for some of the slow thinking in the U.S., and let's just put a pause right there, because like I said, we're very, very primitive, you guys. Look at the vehicles we drive. They're still explosions in a box. We're just banging rocks together. We're very primitive. There's a bunch of ways to do all the things that we are trying to do, and you just wait and see. A couple hundred years from now, things are going to be very different, and we'll look back at now and be like, wow, I can't even believe we had running water. It's kind of like that to me when I look around at how this world works. Just go into a bathroom, for goodness sakes. We have iPhones, but the toilets haven't been updated in 100 years. Okay, anyways. So back to the whole Illuminati thing, the whole people controlling us. Now, I do think that the United States, the standard American diet, the standard American lifestyle is kind of slavery, is highly drugged and hypnotized. I do think that's true, but it's also very easy to come out of once you make a decision to do it. Spend more time outside, eat better foods, stop immersing yourself in the dramas of the media. Just stop. When I stopped watching the news, I've never once regretted it, and I've always heard everything I needed to hear. It's always come to me. You don't need to watch the news. In fact, please don't. Okay, so for the whole Illuminati thing, I just want to say, it's always been there. Just because you maybe just found out about it is no reason to freak out. The way that I see this is, yes, the powers that be, whatever it is, I'm sure they know exactly where I am. I'm sure that they know everything that's on my computer. I'm sure that they can listen into any conversation that I have, and I just kind of work with that as my assumption of how things are. And I think that that's okay, because that's the world we've been born into, and we can change it over time. But just railing against it and kind of whining and crying like babies doesn't really get us anywhere. It's good to be informed, but if you're giving your power away and throwing temper tantrums about stuff, then that doesn't really help anyone. And plus, if you believe in manifestation, then you are the Illuminati of your own life. You're the one that decides, at least for the most part. We have come into a larger system, but the reason that we're being shown that some of the stuff is off is because we're here to change it. And we're not necessarily here to change it by doing things the way that they have been done before. In fact, I promise that we are almost certainly not here to change it doing the way things have been done before. We're finding new ways. Allow yourself to think about that, maybe. So, if you're upset right now, or if you're feeling triggered, I just want to send you a lot of love and say, I'm not doing this to trigger you. I'm doing this because there's some crazy energies in the world right now. And I think that it's important for us all to truly represent what we believe to be true. And I think that the ideas I have about this stuff are way more empowering than sitting there and whining about how someone is controlling me. Because I don't think anyone is. Not unless I let them, and I don't. So, sending you lots of love, sending you lots of self-efficacy. And, yeah, those of you who might feel very passionately about changing my mind, you're probably not gonna. And that's okay. We can agree to disagree. And that's all right with me. I just felt it was important to share this because I think that it might be that my perspectives are more popular than people say, probably because people are afraid that those of you who want to jump down my throat are going to jump down their throat. So, like I said, if you no longer want to be exposed to my work after me saying some of this stuff, that's up to you. And I'm okay with that because such is the way of the world. Everybody can't love you all the time, and nor should they. All right, but I will send you love. And I will send you my best wishes for your life to be bright and abundant and harmonious, and for every step you take in the world to continually make it better and better and better as you go. And that's my intention too. So, controversy or no controversy, blessings to you and yours. Enjoy yourself, and I'll see you again very soon.